All right, there is no doubt the real estate market over the past 24 months has been absolutely insane. But as we roll into 2024, what is going to happen here in Tacoma? What is this real estate market going to look like for us? Is it going to get more dry than it was? Are we going to see a resurgence like we did during the pandemic? Or is it going to be nice and balanced? Well, if you want the answers to those questions, you're going to want to stick around because in this video, I'm going to go over my top predictions for the Tacoma real estate market as we head into 2024 to give you an idea of what this landscape is going to bring us in this industry as we look forward to selling and buying homes so that maybe you can get a little clearer picture of what to expect. And I did do this last year and we actually crushed these predictions. So I'm excited to see how this year turns out. And we're getting after this right now. All right, number one on our list is, yes, you got it. You're going to get a break on interest rates. Now, here's the thing though. I don't think it's going to be the break that you're looking for. I think the 4 to 5% interest rates that we were all hoping for is probably not coming in 2024. I would expect to see interest rates sitting somewhere more around the 6% mark, which is still really a pretty good upgrade from where we've been over the last year or so. The upside is I really think this little bit of a decrease down to that average 6% is actually going to be enough for buyers to start to dip their toes back in the housing market and start shopping again. We've already seen this as we ended the year. We saw interest rates drop a little bit and we saw demand for mortgages increase significantly. I just don't think we're going to see anything around that pandemic level lows. We're really starting to feel as a country we're probably not going to hit a recession, and the financial markets are definitely reflecting that. As well, we're really starting to get inflation under control, and with these factors coming into play, there's just not really as much of a need for the Fed to lower interest rates. And if you're watching the 10-year Treasury, you're seeing it go down just a little bit, but it's not super low. So the upside is we're probably not going to get our super low interest rates, but the upside to that is that means inflation is a lot better under control and there's some positivity in the feelings as towards the financial markets and where it comes to a recession. Number two, I really believe that home prices are going to continue to climb, not decrease. Last month, homes in Pierce County around Tacoma increased about 2.8%, and King County actually saw a 7% increase in values. Now, Tacoma in general, year over year, has seen a 13% increase in values still, which is wild if we look at the way the market has been going for us. Think about this. As these buyers continue to enter the market, they've had time to adjust. They're more used to the higher interest rate. And if we do get that little bit of decrease and they do come off of the fence, then that giant wave of pent up demand is going to hit the market very aggressively here in Tacoma. And there's going to be some leading and lagging indicators here. We're not going to see a ton of new listings hit the market at the exact same time. So you're going to have a rush of demand followed with very little bit of supply, which I believe is going to cause prices to increase pretty sharply during this spring period. Now, if you're looking to buy a home, I would say that my thought is probably your best bet this year in Tacoma is going to be around summertime. So rates decrease, there's the big crunch where buyers are coming and fighting over the few houses that are on the market. People that have homes to sell get more used to the higher interest rates. They begin to then put their homes on the market, creating a little bit more inventory, which should slow down demand a little bit. And if there's one thing we know about summer, while all across the United States, Summer is a crazy, insane real estate market. In our world, it's just a little bit different. In summer, our real estate market kind of slows down, at least it does for us and our clients. It seems like once the beautiful weather here in Tacoma comes out, makes itself known, everybody is warm, having fun, the sun is out every day, all of a sudden the rush to buy and sell homes kind of decreases and people are more worried about taking vacations and soaking up the beautiful weather. I think this creates the perfect storm for a home buyer, and this will be the ultimate time for you to jump in and attack when it comes to this real estate market in 2024. Hey, are you thinking about making a move in 2024? If that is the case, please reach out to us by whichever medium you enjoy the most, whether it's phone call, text, email, or setting up a Zoom call with us so we can help you make a smooth move here in 2024. All right, back to the video. Number 3 for my predictions is that you are going to see a larger return to the office than we have seen since the pandemic. Now, what happened is there were so many folks living in Seattle, and during the pandemic, working from home became so much more normal. I'm really glad that it did. But what we saw from those folks is they decided, you know what, instead of this 1-bedroom condo that 3 or 4 of us are living in, for the same price, we can head down south or even more up north and buy a really nice property for about the same price point. And this did a few things for them. It gave them a lower cost of living. It reduced their taxes, especially if they came down here to Pierce County. And during the pandemic, they had more of an opportunity to enjoy the outdoors and live life a little more comfortably than if they were cooped up in their condo inside the city. Well, as you've seen across the board, more and more employers are now calling for employees to come back into the offices. We've seen it from Microsoft, Meta, and just about everybody around in general. And it might only be just a few days a week, or maybe it's a full-time schedule. You know, Elon has been famous for pulling everybody back into the office no matter what. And I think this is going to create a very big demand for folks that have to kind of their mind, like want to drive into the city every single day over and over again all week for the next however many years? Or do I want to unload my property here down in the South Sound? And do we want to go back up to Seattle, back into the city? I had a really great comment on our YouTube channel. Somebody said, hey, if you want to live and do native things, then work natively as well, because the traffic is so awful. And I couldn't agree with you more. So I'm really excited to see what happens with this. As there's more and more returns to the office, are we going to see a influx of properties here in Pierce County as more and more people return closer to Seattle? And I think the answer to that question is yes. And I think with the frustration of the travel times, I think you're going to be able to make some really good purchases at some really good deals, taking advantage of the folks that have got to head back to the city for work or quit their jobs. All right, number 4 on our list is going to be new construction is going to gain more market share here in the Tacoma area, but it's going to cost them. Now, from YouTube, we relocate a lot of families in from all over the country, east to west, north to south. And when they get here, one problem that we've noticed in general is we have a very, very old inventory of homes. We have homes that are 100 plus years. And as you're coming from a place like Texas, which is basically just all new construction, you don't really want to move to a more expensive market and then pay for a home built in the 1930s or 1920s. So we've seen a lot of people come in and they've decided that, you know what, building a house is going to be more right for me. And the crazier thing is what I've seen them be able to build houses for is actually not much more expensive than if they were to purchase a already built product. Keeping track of the stocks from most of these builders, I've seen a really strong return from basically every builder across the United States, and our area isn't any different. You see, as rates climbed last year, buyers were able to get more and more picky. They could get that older house, or they could build a brand new house for about the same price with all the finishes they want and ultimately have a brand new home for years to come. I think we're actually going to see more of the same here in 2024. But I think as there's a little bit of a decrease in the rates and we get a little bit more inventory to the market, I really believe that builders are going to have to sweeten the pot. So I would keep my eye out for builders who have things like special incentives. I can imagine we're going to see more and more builders offering closing costs to buyers, which would be a really nice, 10 to 15 grand and help. Maybe some really steep discounted mortgage points to make your payment a little bit lower. They might even sweeten the pot for us real estate agents by offering a little bit more commission on transactions when we bring them buyers. They've got a lot of projects going in the area, and while we might not have the massive amounts of master plan communities like the South does, these builders still need to sell homes. And once they start competing again with your standard retail product, they're going to have to sweeten the pot. So if you're looking to possibly build, I think 2024 could be a really sweet year for you to do it. And number 5, my last prediction is the new first family home is a rental. And instead of selling, I think we're going to see more rentals hit the market. This is a huge shift. I think the stigma for renters really goes away in 2024. Even with rates dropping, it is so much harder nowadays to afford credit. People talked about a mortgage crisis possibly coming. That's not the case. It is actually harder now to obtain credit to buy a house than it has since right after the financial collapse back in 2008. And while I really do see that affordability kind of coming back into play in 2024, there are still a lot of families that are going to be priced out of purchasing. There was a house in my neighborhood particularly that went up for rent for roughly $3,800. But when I looked at what it would cost you to buy the house, it would be almost $5,000 a month right now at today's rates. So for a lot of families, you can get into a neighborhood that maybe you're more in favor of, a school system that you're more likely to enjoy for your children, or maybe you just you're planning on being somewhere for a couple of years and don't really see the value in buying and staying there. Caveat to this is, if you're relocating to our area, I highly discourage against renting, because you're moving across the country. You can probably afford to purchase a property. Obviously, this goes different with everybody. Love to have you talk with one of our lenders just to see where you're at. But if you're going to be there for more than 2 years, I think renting probably doesn't make the most sense, especially with the standards that they're putting into place. But I do see more and more families who are priced out of purchasing a home dive into a rental. And on the other side of that coin, I think we're also going to see several folks who normally would put their house on the market to sell it, who have a 2 to 3% interest rate. And instead of listing their house on the market to sell to you or me, I believe they're going to hold it and turn it into a rental to earn income. Again, people have adjusted to the rates. They're more comfortable with them, meaning they're more comfortable with going out and buying a new product, but maybe they don't want to give up that sweet 3.5% interest rate. So they are going to then take their home, put it on the market, and become a landlord and try to make the most out of this situation. Now, what I can tell you is being a landlord is really difficult. It's very complicated. And in my opinion, our area is probably one of the worst places in the entire United States to be a landlord. I would be much happier seeing you take that money and invest it into areas that are a lot more landlord friendly, that have a lot different types of regulations than we have here. Places like Missouri, Arkansas, South Carolina, Tennessee, even Wisconsin are great options to start your investing journey in, and you can get in at a much, much lower price than you can here. So there you guys have it. Those are kind of my predictions for what to see here in Tacoma as we move throughout 2024. I'd love to know, what do you think? Where's your head at with 2024 here in our local market? Am I crazy? Do you think I nailed them? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget, Chris, myself, and our team we do get phone calls, texts, and emails every day from people who are looking to make a move either right here in Tacoma or from outside the area to our market. And we absolutely love it. So whether you're looking at making your move here in the next 3 days or the next 3 months, shoot us a phone call, text, or an email so we can help you make that smooth move. And until next time, cannot wait till you're out here so we can show you around.